Hi, this is Roger and welcome to another Tiger Shark Studio workshop. Today I'm just going to cover ambient occlusion. Just put this video out there. I know I've been getting a lot of requests for it, and just to show you how easy it is to do and some of the great results you can get from it. So what I've got here is one of my little gun turrets which you can find available on my store. And what I'm going to do, I've actually got this set up as a file project, so it's already ready to go. What I'm going to do, I'm actually in the view mode. I am going to click here. See, I've got a blend there. I'm going to just assign a blend to this. Let's actually give it a color. There we go. So it's assigned. Give it a color. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do an ambient occlusion for it. So first thing you need to know with ambient occlusions is you need to have good set of UVs. So let's just check my UVs. If I say panel, UV texture editor, select the model. You can see there it is, there's my UVs there, and I've actually got the toggle on to show which things are rotated the wrong way. Now, the way I like to work, I like to use a reference texture, so with my reference texture I can actually see if these things are facing the wrong way. So what I'll do is I'll just go back to my hypershade. I haven't got a reference texture in there, but I can throw one on. Let's just double click this. I'm going to create a file node. Browse to my reference texture. Just go up one. I think I've got a reference texture. There you go. If I assign that, press number 6 on my keyboard. There you go. So there's my reference texture showing the layout of my UVs that are currently applied. Put this back onto channel box. There we go. And what I'm going to do is go over to panels, panel, UV texture editor. Again, select it. If I switch off the toggle, you can see you can actually go in and check. But with the toggle, I'm going to dim the background 50%. You can actually start trying to figure out which one of these UVs are flipped in the wrong way. And if I just say face, say that one, there it is. So that one, you can just about see that the numbers, if I do select convert to UVs, hit W my UV edit, you can see that the numbers are reversed there. So what I can do now is flip them horizontally. So any of the UVs which are UV polygon, any of the UV layouts which are showing up as red, I want to flip them, so I'm just going to flip them. There you go. This red one, this circle here. There we go. It's probably on the inside bottom of this dome. So let's just flip that one. And you got this strip here, so if I say face, UVs, yes, this inner circle part, just flip that, and then this last section, which I believe is part of the gun. Again, it's the inner surface part, we can't actually see it, but it still matters. Let's flip that. So there you go, so all my UVs are laid out in blue. Switch off the toggle. I can now go to object mode. Let's just do a save. And now what I'm going to do is go back to panels, panel, hypershade. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create the shader tree that we need to create our ambient occlusion. So to create an ambient occlusion, what I usually start off with is surface shader. So in fact, let's just put that up there. Surface shader, there it is. And you have to have mental ray activated, so if you haven't got mental ray activated, you go to Windows, Settings Preferences, Plugin Manager, Just make sure you get mental ray activated there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to where it says mental ray in the hyper shade, go to where it says textures, and I'm looking for MIB Ambient Occlusion, which is this one. Click it once, there you go. And now I'm just going to make this bigger so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. I want to connect these two nodes together to form my shader tree. So what you do is you put your cursor over this triangle, which is the output of the MIB Ambient Occlusion. You want to middle mouse click it and drag, holding the middle mouse down, and release over the input of the surface shader. And then when you release it, it'll give you connect input of surface shader 1, or connect the output from MIB Ambient Occlusion to the input of surface shader 1. And I'm going to say, yeah, that's default, and it connects it. And now if I click on MIB, sorry, double click on MIB, calls up the attribute editor of it, and you see it tells you the name, sample. And what we're going to do is I'm going to push the sample up from 16 to 32. And all I'm doing here is just trying to give me a better resolution on the final output. In fact, actually, if I leave that 16 as a demo, you'll see why I'll push to 32 later. So I'm going to leave it at 16 for this one. I'm going to zoom out, select the model, right click on the material and say assign material to selection. There you go, it turns black. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see where I can do this. Yes. So I usually have my ambient occlusion bake or batch bake options here in my shelf, but if you want to find it, it'll be under rendering, lighting and shading, batch bake, mental ray, and you want to go to the options box and click on it once, and there you go, that brings it up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go through the parameters. So objects to bake are selected, correct. I'm going to leave skip objects in initial bake sets to on. I'm going to say I want to bake my output to a texture, and I want to bake multiple objects because this object is actually made up of a few separate objects. I want to bake the shadows. The camera I'm using is perspective, and I'm going to say use bake set override, which activates these extra parameters. And then the one I'm looking for here is color mode. You actually got only light, only global illumination or occlusion. I actually want light and color. Normal direction got surface front with orthogonal reflection, and I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it turret AO bake, and the size I'm going to say 512. Image format is TGA. I want to bake it to one map. I'm going to leave all the other parameters, which is just, we aren't using much on Final Gather, but I also want to keep the basic UV layout positions as well. And what I'm going to do is, before I hit convert, just make sure you haven't got any menus or any windows or menus that are minimized over this area, because it'll actually hide the progress bar. So on that note, with it selected, I'm going to hit convert, and there you go, is the progress bar. And then once it's baked, let's just minimize that now. You can see I've got a nice kind of grayscale lighting map or ambient map, which shows lighting values as cast by the default light on the system. If I switch off my wireframe or shade, you can see it gives it a nice kind of tonal look to it. And wherever the object is not receiving light, like the bottom of this dome and the inside cavity, it will be black. And you can see that the map created here, actually I'll just try and do it. Let's do a clean up, arrange. See, it created a different bake for all the pieces. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 6 maps, but basically it baked it out there. You get a little impression of what it's going to look like, and what we have is this ambient occlusion bake generated. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just call up the window just to show you what the outputted texture looks like. Okay, so here is the image that was baked out at a setting of 16 in the samples for the light map and the surface shader. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push that to one side, and you can see that obviously it gives you this very bitty, noise affected look. We want to try and remove that, so what I'm going to do is clear my work. Actually, I don't even have to clear it, it's actually there, but if you want to, you can clear your work area. Click on this button. If I go to my materials, see the surface shader is already there. So if I say surface shader, show me the input and output, just puts it into the work area. I can now double click on the MIB AMB occlusion and change the sample rate up to, let's go up to 64. Okay, and select the model and reassign that. And now maximize that. If I say bake batch options, which is lighting, bake batch mental rate options, call it up again. This time I'm going to call this one Turret AO Bake and call this one V2, just so I know it's different. And then again, make sure nothing's minimized in this corner and do a convert, and it'll process it. As you can see, it's taking a little bit longer because it's actually got more work to do. Let's minimize this. And you can see on this version the noise is greatly reduced. It's still there, but it's not as evident as it was in version 1. And what I will do is just let's call it up again. So just kill this window. If I can, there we go. So that was the original one, and that's the second one. You can see it's a whole lot sharper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just do one more, make it even sharper. So again, let's double click on that one. Let's make this one, I'm going to say 128. Let's just go up one more iteration. Select it. And this time we can actually change the color. I'm going to change the color. Let's give the actual, give it a nice beige color there. In fact, actually no, I use beige for the blend. Let's give it a nice kind of tint on. There we go. If I select that and assign it, and then one more time, mental ray bacon options, which is under lighting, batch rate mental ray options. This time call this one version 3 because again I don't want to overwrite the originals. Do a convert, and it's going to take a bit of time. This one, it's actually using a few processors here on my Mac. You can see that my Mac is actually, I've got a little window up there, you probably can't see it, but it's just showing me that the processors they've gone from like 2% up to about 40% of processor power as it's calculating all those new calculations. And there we go. You can see that's a whole lot more smoother. Still got some jaggers on it, but it's not too bad. And then last but not least, let's just check the file. There you can see the final one even sharper. Okay. So now that I have the ambient occlusion, I'm going to actually just show you how I'd apply this to my model. And I actually have a texture map already, original texture map already here, but I'll just reload it. So, or actually I should say I'll create a new one. So you go back to Maya. If I say blend, create a new blend, I'm going to assign that blend to my model. Double click on the blend and say, let's find a texture. And I'm going to browse to a texture, and I've got some. Here, it's one of my favorites. That was. I've got a few here, which I just if I sort, it's going to sort by kind to get all my PNGs together. I'll just tag, just toggle through them. I like that one. Let's load that one. So open up that map, and you can see it goes on there very nicely. I've got default lighting, so that's why you're getting a little bit of shine, and also it's using the blend. And now what I'm going to do is just switch over to high quality mode. There we go. And you can see you get a more of a quality look to the model. I'm just going to go back to material on this. I'm going to say throw on my bump map. So let's just say file. And remember with actually I call it bump map. I should have said tangent space normal because it's a normal map. Let's just browse to my normal map. And my normal map's always called NRM. There it is. So I've got another one there, but that's not one. It's not completed. There you go. You can see that's given me an extra line of definition on the model. It's looking very nice. Let's just clean up the work area. You can see I've got two inputs going in there. I've got a color map and my normal map. And just to go back to the bump or 2D bump parameters, I switched it from a bump map to tangent space normal, so it works as a normal map. If I click it back to bump map, you can see it gives you a completely different result, where you can change the bump value. Actually, sorry, the bump depth, I should say. But I'm going to actually leave it on tangent space normal. You can still, actually, it doesn't really affect it, but you know, there we go. So, last but not least, let's click on it. There you go. Ambient map. Click on the ambient color. File. And this is the one that I just generated. So what I need to do is click on image name. I'm going to go up a few folders to find that map, which is actually under my mental ray. Sorry, wrong one. It's actually under my render data. So if I sort by name, render data, mental ray, light map, and the last one I baked was called Turret AO Bake version 3. And you can see it's actually illuminating. Let's just clean up that work here. So you've got the three maps going in. It's actually giving my turret a nice illumination with this extra orange glow, and that's because the ambient map, I made it that orange color, that kind of reddish color there. If you made it white, it would have given it a more even glow. And just to prove that it's working, if I go to my lighting view and say use no lights, you can still see the model. Now if I zoom in here, delete that connection, when you go to high quality with no lighting, no default lighting, your model will go black. The ambient occlusion, if I just see if I can connect it here again, I connected that ambient map back to the ambient color of the blend 2, and it illuminates the model. So it's a nice way of giving your model lighting value without actually having to have a light in the scene. And what I'm going to do is just change it to the version 2, and you can actually just tap in here and say version 2. There we go. And it nicely illuminates it. This is very useful as well if you want to spit this model out to your game engine, i.e. Unity or UDK, because you're going to get a nice base material as in Blend 2. You're going to get your texture go across, you're going to get your ambient go across, and you're going to get your normal map go across. Okay, so there you go. I just want to finish up. That's ambient occlusion mapping for simple models. And please come back, vote to like or leave a comment. Got some more tutorials to come, and also some art updates coming very soon for Tiger Studios. And I'm going to sign off now. So this is Roger, and I'll see you in the next workshop. Bye.